Hello and welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop role-playing games. In Side Quest, we're taking a break from our longer stories to play just a few sessions of some very unique role-playing games out there. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, I watched Parasite finally, like Stevie and I did.
Wait, the movie or the anime?
The movie.
Okay.
You're like, either way, ooh.
Yeah, they're both good.
The stress.
The Korean drama one?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Holy
so
shit.
good, huh?
Today's sponsor. Just kidding.
I wish.
I felt so uncomfortable afterwards because I was like, it's so stressful, and it was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got so fucking close.
No spoilers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no
It was-
spoilers.
They all
'cause
died.
I know
it's
it's
a
only a
great
few
one.
years. It's like 4 years old, though.
Yeah.
It is 4 years
but-
old.
Yeah.
I mean, we only just now watched it.
Yeah, but we're really behind the times.
I
Well,
mean,
I'm
I
not
guess
behind,
that's
it's
fair.
fine.
But
See for yourself.
Yeah, when the rich guy is like, you smell poor, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that hit hard.
yeah.
Because like my dad was a truck driver, and so he and a mechanic, so he would like come home smelling like oil and like trucks, right? Because he was inside of the like engines all the time. And dude, that just like hit home a little too hard. I was like, oof, yeah.
Yeah.
There can be those like smells, right? And like I did landscaping for a while when I was in high school, so that's the glorified name for a grass cutter.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, like I remember having like that smell of like yard work
Mhm.
around me too, and like the smell of rotting grass still smells
Oh.
like money to me even today. But like I can pass one of those like box trucks that they're throwing all their clippings into, and I'm like, yep, that's the stuff.
I can just see you getting your own like perfume.
Yeah.
Money. I just-
Rotting grass.
Rotting grass.
Oh, the grass.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, that makes it sound
landscaping's
nicer.
really hard, man. I did it one time because one of my high school coaches for track did it on the side, and he would hire us
Mhm.
on the side and like give us part of the cut. Why didn't you do that in the mic?
Why'd
Why'd you do that away from the
to
mic?
I'm out of the habit.
You know, okay. I'm getting a can. I need to do this.
Oh,
There we
okay.
I guess they'll
Stevie's
just
was
know
good.
All that to say,
why.
it was really hard. It was really hot, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I moved so many rocks in one day.
Yeah.
So many rocks, dude.
It's fucking
Dude,
rocks.
I was
Dwayne.
listening to podcasts before it was cool.
Oh, is that what you did when you?
While I was landscaping, yeah.
Dang, that's way cooler than what I did.
No,
What'd you
I
do?
What do
rem-
you do?
I listened to my iPod shuffle on repeat, and it was just like Michael Jackson and Metallica over and over again. And
What a
it was
duo.
great, but like also
Well, you did what?
Landscape.
I
Did everyone
mowed
do
lawns and stuff
landscaping?
So I started
for
listening.
my dad. Yeah,
I started listening to stuff you should know, like within
Did
the
you do
first
landscaping?
5 episodes. Like I want to say it was 2006 or 7.
that's wild.
Yeah.
That
Is it
has been
still
out
ongoing?
for forever. Yeah,
Wow,
right?
that's crazy.
yeah, it's
Yeah, they're still going. It's
I
a
don't
good
know
one.
anything.
I did a little bit of, I don't know if I could call it landscape. I did yard work,
That's
Yeah.
landscape.
And then
That's
also,
landscaping, yeah.
Paying
cleaning up
counts.
foreclosed homes
You're
for a
dealing with
family
grass.
friend.
Oof, just 4.
Damn,
Just 4 of them, yeah.
stop it.
No
Yeah.
open ones.
I'm leaving.
Oh man.
When I was 9, I went around the neighborhood offering to weed gardens, and I got $20 in a fudgesicle from
Nice.
one old lady.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was the paper boy back home.
Oh yeah. I
That's
did-
a rough
years.
job too.
Did you ride a bike? Like, did you bike the route?
Oh,
Like
no,
the
no.
plastic?
Where I lived, it was literally a valley between 3 mountains, and I lived on one side of the mountain, and my route would be down the mountain, across the valley, up to the other side. So
Wow.
I could literally tell people, and here's the real kicker. One year we had a big snowstorm. At the same time, all the school buses went on strike. So I can literally
no.
and honestly tell people that I walked uphill both ways in a snowstorm to get to school.
That is wonderful.
That's wild.
Oh, goddamn. Dude, I just forgot that even exists. Like being a paper boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was back in like what, 04, 05 ish,
Mhm.
Oh,
maybe
okay,
earlier.
My first job was at a grocery store, like the bagging groceries, but it was a small town, so they also had us like stocking 2 of the aisles. We'd be in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
That
That was
was
my
it.
first job.
I've been there.
I think it was Panera Bread. No, it was Old Navy.
Old Navy. I forget Old Navy exists.
Mm-hmm. It was awful.
They just make me think of back to school shopping.
Yeah.
They do go hard on those ads.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's
They've
so
already
many
started.
back to school ads for Old Navy.
Jeans, man.
Yeah.
I,
They had
I
some
swear
decent
it was
jeans, though.
it was
I liked
probably
their
like
jeans.
May that I started seeing some like back to school stuff.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I don't
School's
know.
not
It was
even
probably
out.
June.
That was what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like,
right?
aren't they getting out soon in May?
Well, they wait. Was it?
No,
This
because
month
it
that
would
we
have been
saw-
4th of July stuff that was out.
Oh, okay. They probably waited like a
Or
millisecond
Memorial
after.
Day stuff. Wait.
I don't know, man, but they just put shit out way too quick. Like, especially with like Christmas,
I was gonna
they
say, I
ignore
can't
they
wait.
ignore
Easter?
Thanksgiving. It's
Yep.
just
Once Valentine's Day is
Christmas.
over, it's Easter.
yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for all the Christmas carols to drop, bro. That was the worst part about working at Old Navy because I worked during the holidays.
Okay.
The holiday sale, bro, was the same 4
No,
Christmas
no.
songs on repeat.
Do you want to know what's
That
worse
is
though?
rough.
When I was working at Michael's,
I know.
our stop, our like CD player thing stopped working. So through the entire holiday season, there was no music playing. It was
That sounds
That's
worse
crazy.
than
Yeah,
having
that's
the
how-
same songs on repeat because it was like you could hear, like if nobody was in the store, you could literally hear a pin drop. And then
That's
when it was like
horrifying.
chaos, like
Oh,
you couldn't
God.
hear a single thing. You couldn't think. Like it was
There was nothing
awful.
to guide you.
There was nothing. There
Back
was
to the
no
light.
holiday cheer. It was all just glitter. It was,
I would have just
tragic.
got a boombox or something.
dude, I almost did. I was
my
literally
headphones on.
this close to doing it, but then I was like, I'm not going to be here for that long, and I don't really want to
Just pay
spend
one of the
money.
temps to sit in the corner singing or something.
Something.
God
Ugh.
damn it.
But surely there's a bard around somewhere.
Don't call me Shirley.
All right. Well, I think this is a good time. I'm sure you heard him
yeah.
a little bit on our intro, but we have a guest, not a guest star as a player, but a guest star as the GM. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am DiscoTechPriest, the Archmagos of Mysteries, the Adept Signorus of Silliness, and the Forge Master General of Fun. Also, a proprietor of alliteration. So, pleasure to be here. Pleasure to have you guys with me as the players, and I'm looking forward to this.
What a
That-
fucking
I was just
title.
thinking,
I
God
know.
damn.
like, if I went on somebody else's show, I'd just be like, "Hey, it's your boy." Like, what?
It's me.
I hope you
Let's
introduce yourself
Stevie.
that way all the time.
In
Because
person. too.
I usually go with Grand Duke Baller Pants, but I feel
That's
this is a
good, too.
special occasion.
Okay. Well, hello, Disco. Well, how long have you been in the TTRPG kind of community?
Whew, well, properly, I've been in for about 10 years or so. Started with a Pathfinder game played by a friend of mine. Didn't go anywhere, unfortunately, due to life happened. He had a kid, so greats on him.
Gross.
But yeah, from there, it was just from Pathfinder. Then I ran D&D, and I've been a forever DM since.
I
Do
be
you
like that.
do you like being a forever DM?
I love it. As much as I like playing, I think there is something special about playing a DM, and I will mirror what a lot of DMs before me have said. Everyone should DM at least once, because
Not me.
it's a different kind of fun for each side of the board, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I love being forever DM. Every time that I'm sitting in the player seat, I'm like, but man, if I ran this though, I could be doing.
Oh,
you think
so you
it's-
hate us.
Do you
That's
think
what he
it's
said.
by,
That's
That's what
by
he thinks
necessity?
about. He's like, wow, I don't really like the way they do it.
Do you
I would
think
do it better.
Forever DMs have to like it because they're kind of like they're not stuck there, but they're kind of stuck there anyway.
So
know?
you think
Like-
it's Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah, a little bit, right?
I really think it depends on the GM and the group. If you got a really good group, it doesn't feel like a hassle at all. But if your party is kind of a problem, then you got to kind of work around it. Thankfully,
you're-
I have never had a party I've not enjoyed playing for. So
Hey, we'll give it a second. I'm just kidding.
So you're welcome, Damien.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are.
The bee's knees.
I mean, you're
We
you're
are
all
the
right.
bee's knees.
Oh my
You're
God.
pretty
Oh
good,
my
I
God.
guess.
We're the bee's
We
elbows.
could go on
as well.
strike right now. We could walk out.
the whole
Okay.
limb.
It makes sense though why you and Damien get along so well. I feel like you guys have very similar
They have DM energy.
outlooks,
Forever
yeah.
GM.
Well, not just like the forever GM thing,
Well,
but
like,
the enjoying
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
I think I
Like
hear
a
a
willing
lot.
forever GM, because Damien was like, well, I could do this one shot. Like when we
It's
were
like
trying to figure out some of the side quests, he was like, oh, I could do this. Or like
Mhm.
who's
Right,
running
right.
the game though? I could do it.
Yeah.
I guess if I have to, I'll DM.
Oh no.
Oh no! Whatever if I do? Meanwhile, I'm pulling out a campaign stack 3 inches high. It's like
Got your binder ready.
A stack of pre-written campaigns.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, I can run something. Just
think-
give me 10 minutes.
I have no shit said that before. Give
Yeah.
me just 10 minutes and I'll have
He
something.
said,
Yes.
yeah, while you guys were gone, he said, we were talking about doing a one shot. He said, I could be ready right now. And we were like, bro, relax.
No, literally, like sometimes we'll be talking about it upstairs and Damien will be like, I mean, I can right now. And he'll just go down to the basement and then he's like, are you guys ready to play? Like
No.
10, 15 minutes later, we're like, whoa. we're joking. He's like, oh, yes.
He's like, all right, well,
Me
let
too.
me know.
You walk downstairs to get a snack at night, turn on the light, he's sitting there with a full table. I've been waiting
Bro,
for you.
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's actually me just going from mic to mic, just being like, well,
Yes.
I'm going to go doing this.
Have you done, honest question, have you done that thing where you're doing like your daily chores, you're out and about, and you just start thinking in your mind, start playing out scenarios in your mind of how you think the players are going to do stuff, and you have a full dialogue in your head?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm trying to like set up. Of course, these scenes are for like the end game, the last chapter of our Kingmaker campaign. But I keep on like thinking through the different conversations, the cool.
Yep.
It's going to be so good.
And you
I
know,
can't
by
wait
that
for you
point,
to
you
get
know
there.
your players so well, you can pretty much get down to the word what they would say in that situation.
I'm not quite there yet. They always seem to just do something fucking weird.
It's
but-
the nerd.
Oh
I
yeah,
can
always.
see.
Well, you think you know what they're gonna say. You have a pretty good idea, but there's always that one time where they go, "Nope, I'm gonna do something completely opposite direction." You're like, "I am here for it."
Yeah.
Yeah, when Misty and I did a duet playing the Star Wars RPG, I was like, oh, and then I'll introduce this Jedi and she'll be friends with the Jedi. And she's like, I'm a shoot the Jedi. I was like, wait, what do you mean? And she's like, I'm a thief. This Jedi is trying to take my rightfully stolen things. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess we're doing this.
Let's do this.
Fighting the Jedi, even though you're a smuggler that's level like 3.
They
But-
always adopt the goblin that tried to kill them.
Yeah.
True.
Awesome. Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the game that we'll be playing?
All right, so players and listeners, welcome to the table. Today we're going to be playing a fun little role-playing system called NOVA by Gia RPGs, written... Hold on a second here. I had it. Come on.
Spencer Campbell.
Written by Spencer Campbell. Thank you. It can be found on Gia RPGs. That's GILARPGS.itch.io / if it will open again, so many tabs, / NOVA. Uses the Lumen system, which is designed for action-packed combat, equipping the players with a set of powers that bring back the power fantasy feelings of looter shooters to the tabletop.
And we will we'll have a lot of this information and like the links to where you can get this in the show notes.
Absolutely. All you need is a D6 system. So basically, the players will have their a pool of D6s, dictated by a set of stats on their character sheet, which we will get to shortly. And they roll that number of dice and take the highest number as the result. Which being a 1 or 2 is a failure with a consequence, a 3 and 4 is a success with a consequence, and a 5 or 6 is a total success, which means they succeed, no additional hitches or catches.
Does this use the same kind of mentality that like Blades in the Dark does, where there's potential for a critical success if you get like 2 6s or something?
There is not. That is the one thing. The idea behind Nova is that it's like you're playing Destiny, you are the guardian, you are the badass. And the idea behind Nova and the Lumen system is to encourage that behavior on the tabletop setting. You guys are badasses. You are driving super-powered exosuits powered by the light of the sun itself. you are going to do awesome shit all the time. And the idea of a critical success is the idea behind that is your total success of no consequence. You do you do the badass thing you wanted to do, full stop.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool.
That is cool.
I am excited because
Right.
like we had a little bit of a power fantasy with like bunkers.
Oh
but
yeah.
This is going to be a whole new level.
And the idea behind it is even if you do roll a 1 or 2 as your highest for a failure, the system encourages the GM to go, okay, let them fail forward. And I'm hoping to, if we get the chance. I don't think you guys are going to be doing much rollings of 1s and 2s considering how the dice system works, but we'll see.
I don't know,
You
man.
never know.
I'm pretty unlucky. There's usually someone at this table that is pretty unlucky.
Oh yeah.
Joseph and Misty, that side is not good
It's
for
kinda
rolling.
cursed.
I
It's
don't know
true.
why.
It's
Yeah.
not unlucky. Like, I don't know why we keep sending them there. Like, it's
Yeah.
cursed.
Maybe it's just
Well,
them.
if you guys were to trade us, then you would be cursed. So I feel like at least we can always be disappointed instead of like sharing the disappointment, you know?
Yeah,
Like
just let me be the constant disappointment.
Also, we don't want to like have it switched and they find out that they themselves are cursed.
That's true.
yeah, we can't blame it on anything.
Oh, so
We
it's
just say that-
Schrodinger's
for you.
curse.
The
Schrodinger's
table's
curse.
lopsided and somehow the rules aren't fair.
Always rolls ones.
Oh
It's not
man, I've heard stories, but yeah. So, before we get into character creation, with your permission, I'd like to just do a quick overview of the quote-unquote lore for the system.
Please do.
Absolutely, man.
All right. The sun has exploded. Its shards have crossed the solar system and smashed into the Earth and our moon. Humanity is devastated, nearly wiped to the point of extinction. Our moon now sits stuck in the sky, a glowing, pock-marked beacon of our apocalypse. Hundreds of years later, we rebuilt. The shards of sun planted themselves on our surface and cooled. Humanity huddled around these shards, harnessing them for warmth and light. And now, with the advent of the sun wells, we can tap into the near limitless energy of these shards. In a twist of fate, this new source of fuel is skyrocketing us forward in our tech. The cities built around the sun wells are a hybrid of the ruins of old Earth and the technology of new Terra. We are ready to face the dark. We built powerful exosuits, fueled by the energy of the sun wells. These suits, the sparks, would be sturdy enough to explore the darkness beyond the safety of the sun wells, and powerful enough to defend themselves and humanity from whatever lurks out there. You are those sparks. Old Earth is filled with ruins, and in those ruins are the tech and knowledge we need to rebuild. There are threats out there in the dusk that would take the sun shards for themselves, or see them snuffed out entirely. Suit up, pilots. It's time to bring a new dawn.
God damn, it's so
That was
cool.
cool.
Mhm.
All right. So, character creation. Nova is wonderful in that it has a single sheet as your character sheet. At the very top, you'll see your pilot information, which is your Spark file. This will be your call sign, which we will leave empty for that for now. Your Spark class, which is the type of suit you'll be piloting. Your pilot name, and your preferred pronouns for your character. Go ahead and fill those out now, if you please.
Oh, I didn't know we're supposed to have a call sign.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, he said.
The only person with a call sign right now should be Wesley.
That's me.
Ooh, we don't have to.
You don't have to.
Like being different.
And then, yeah. Okay.
As a side note, personally, I am bad with remembering names, so if you don't mind, I'll be calling you by your character names once we get into it proper.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
No, that's
Easy for me
perfect.
to remember.
Hold on, gotta remember
Did you
what the
forget your class?
Yeah.
okay, so me
Our
too.
class is the
The Spark,
type of
the
pilot
mech.
we
Is
are,
the
right?
type of mech you're using, yep.
Cool.
While you guys are doing that, the Nova system doesn't use your character. Your characters themselves don't have stats. Your suits do. So each class has its own powers, its own abilities, and its own upgrade tree, essentially, which is how you level up. There is no leveling. There's no experience points. At the end of each mission, you get a new mod you can add to your suit, and you can customize your suit with your available mods between missions. The system is designed to be able to jump in and out as needed. So, for example, if we were playing a long point campaign together at the table, I could hop out as a player at one point, and one of you guys could jump in as the DM and just have the pilots swapping out mission to mission.
That's
That's
really
cool.
cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
So it's really great for like if you just want to do a one shot before a major camp. If say your main campaign is taking a break, you can break this out and do a one shot for whoever's still at the table. Or even for one-on-one. This system is really good from what I can read of one-on-one systems.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that's kind of a rare thing to like get good at.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
it's cool that you can interchange it so much.
Yeah.
So once you're all ready, I was gonna get you guys to go around the horn real quick, and actually, we'll do that after character creation. All right. So once you have your pilot information, we're going to go on to the actual meat of the system. At the top center, you should see sun, moon, and shade. These are your stats. Each one represents a type of action you could take. Sun indicates powerful, destructive, or sweeping actions, brute forcing an old earth console, smashing through a door or barrier, enduring a strenuous wait, or speaking emotionally. Moon is quick, reactive, dangerous actions, quickly hacking a console in the middle of combat, threading a needle, avoiding harm or detection, or making a quick exit. And Shade is practiced, patient, and methodical actions, carefully unlocking a console, taking your time to assess a situation or location, knowing when to act, or using logic to reach a conclusion. For character creation, at the start, you guys get a starting value of 1 for each of these 3 attributes, and you have 4 points total to spend to increase them as you wish.
Is there any max that they can be at character creation?
At start, you cannot have an attribute with a starting value greater than 4.
Okay.
We have 4 points to spend?
Yep. So you get 1 in each, and then you can distribute 4 points between those 3, however you want. Now, we'll get into this more when we go to combat, but with Nova, each suit has its own unique powers, which you can use in combat, but you don't have to use those powers during your turn in combat. You can use one of your attributes to do something badass instead, which can result in either a change to the battlefield, a change in enemy behavior, or just dealing straight damage. Say, for example, you want to pick up a truck and throw it at a guy shooting at you from a distance. That would be a sun roll.
Okay.
So I would encourage you guys to, during combat, think about, okay, how can I use my abilities as well as my powers,
All right.
All right. Once you have that done, you will have the health and fuel bars.
Okay.
Each spark has a starting health and fuel value of 2, and you can spend up to 8 points in total to increase those values. There is no cap on these for creation. So if you want, you can have 2 fuel and 10 health.
No cap.
Okay. And how is fuel used?
So anytime you use your power, one of your powers in combat, that uses a fuel point.
Okay.
And health is health. Each time you take damage, it takes off a certain number of health depending on what hit you and how.
Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat? You said they have a base value of 2, and we have 8 points to spend?
Base value of 2 and 8 points total. I would also recommend putting a little mark above or below each gauge to show where your current max is. That way, when you're doing healing and refueling, you don't accidentally go over that point. Just as a personal reminder to keep track.
Sounds good.
And once that is done, you get to the meat of it. So here's where the character sheet gets a little confusing, admittedly. Your mod sets, your persistent mods, and your power mods. By default, each these mods are on your on your Spark's individual character page on the rulebook. So each one will have a list of your passive, your active powers, and your supernova ability, which activates when you quote-unquote go down, followed by a list of mods underneath that. At character creation, you can choose a total of 2 mods and add them to your character sheet.
Okay, and we already get the passive and all the active
Yep.
powers.
Your passive.
Oh,
So underneath where it says persistent mods, you can leave that for now if you want. You can fill in your passive, your supernova, and the 4 powers in the titled boxes.
Okay. Yeah, so each character has their own specific passive. So, for instance, since I'm the Grim, I have Raise Dead, which we can talk about later. But then there's active powers, and those are the ones that consume fuel.
Yes.
And
Each
then
power uses 1
supernova.
fuel unless otherwise specified.
Okay. And then the supernova is not death, but quote unquote on death, on health reaching
So
0.
the idea behind it is, again, Nova wants to encourage that whole badass looter shooter feel. You don't die. They do mention that can be something you can add to your campaign if you want to have that impact to happen, but it's something that should be described with the players. Normally, though, when your character hits 0 health, your suit goes into a lockdown mode until someone comes and picks you guys back up. And when they do go down, they activate their supernova ability. So, for example, with the Pyre suit, their supernova is Firestorm, where you choose a single enemy at any range, move to close range with it, and deal your harm equal to your sun plus your moon.
Jesus Christ.
That's
pretty
awesome.
sick.
And just to go through some of these mods, you have some like kind of basic mods, like just adding one to your.
Yep. So mods will come in 2 different varieties: your persistent mods, which you apply to your suit itself, and your power mods, which apply to the powers individually. So as you can see, some of you will have. So under the persistent mods, you'll see multiples where you'll have like +1 sun, +1 sun, +1 shade, +1 fuel, +1 health, +1 health. So each time you take a mod, you take that mod once, but you can take that mod. You have 2 of those mods. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So we can take it up to twice, for example.
However many is listed on the board, yeah. And there's a difference between having the mod available and actually installing it on your suit. At the early levels, you'll have more than enough space to install all the mods you unlock as you go. But in the higher levels of tiers, you would have like 6 or 7 mods, but only 4 slots to install them. So you get to pick between missions. You can swap out your loadouts depending on what you're doing, essentially.
Cool.
That's cool.
Okay.
So at character creation, all of you you can pick 2 mods total from that whole list, both persistent and power mods. And you would list them in the grid section where you have those diamonds. That's where you list the mods you have available. And when you install them, you put them in the appropriate box above.
Okay, gotcha.
So maybe this is dumb, but I know we can only have a stat go up to 4, but now the mods can exceed that, right?
Yes. So you have your base stat at character creation, and then your mods adjust that further.
Cool. I think.
But the 4 max, that's your baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And a mod's effects only take effect when you have it installed. That's why I would recommend making a mark where your current max health and fuel are, so you could keep track of when mods adjust that.
Cool. Okay.
Now, as a special rule, Wesley, you can pick a 3rd mod of your choice.
Thank you. Because I got that experience. Don't look at me like that. Y'all jealous.
Story reasons.
Oh.
You wrote it into your backstory in a way that was like, yeah, that would make sense. Go ahead.
I'm the Master Jedi this time.
Pretty much. As a side note, when it comes to the power mods, the special ones, where it's not just +1 to whatever, it'll tell you which mod it can be applied to. Those special mods can only be applied to a specific power.
Okay.
So the idea is they give a special boost to that power, but it takes up a mod slot from your hard number totals.
Okay, and if we have one that applies to our passive, where do we write that down?
To your passive, I believe those would normally be under the persistent mods.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and that's
there's a
right
little
around
section
the
for persistent
health
ones.
and fuel
Yes.
radial.
Okay, gotcha.
There are 4 slots
Those
there
ones.
for those.
Perfect. Okay.
So usually what most people do is they'll put the name in the listed mods and then put the details in the actual installed slot.
Okay, cool.
So again, there are 4 slots for the Spark, and each power can have up to 2 mods installed at any given time.
So we get 2 mods?
Correct.
Yep, 2 mods total at start.
What's your meat?
Do you want to know what mine are?
Sure. What? Why'd you do that? You asked me. You have to tell me.
I'm doing Reborn, which is gain the blood effect from Siphon with my Supernova, because with my Supernova, it activates Siphon, which is pull the life force right from your foes, deal 1 harm to enemy within close range, and gain 1 health. But the blood effect is that it affects all close enemies.
That's pretty
Nice.
sick.
So when I faint,
But what if
Or
you never
whatever.
faint?
I have 4 health.
Okay.
I was thinking of putting it down to 3 or 2.
You won't.
I think
Wait,
I will
you
put it
have
to
only
3.
4 health?
Yeah. Wait,
And
are you putting it all into fuel?
How much health do you have?
Bro,
have
I
4.
mean, my thing is kind of like, what if health a little, and then what if I die and then get more health?
Yeah, that's why. Because isn't your supernova?
But I need fuel to do the powers. I'm
No,
not
that's
worried.
fair. But
that really does make a good point of how the system works out. Is you can build it however you want, but certain sparks really do encourage leaning one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, the where is it here? When I like the Scorch, you really want to put points into your fuel because your powers do a lot of damage to a lot of people really fast. So you really want to have that fuel available, and it lets you manipulate fuel and health drops as you go.
What is everyone? Never mind.
What?
I was
What's
gonna ask
up?
what everyone's playing, but then I looked and I was like, oh, I can look at their icons. But now I'm realizing I don't know all the classes.
Yeah, I was like, are you just like, yeah. I'm
I know
sanguine.
that one, and I know because that's me. And I know that one
Because it's a plague doctor.
because it's a pox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 I know.
So I'm an infernal.
And we can talk about this again. More.
Yeah.
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 I'm
Just
a
wanna know.
sanguine. Damien is grim. I'm sure you can figure out which is which.
Yeah.
You're an infernal?
I am.
Ooh.
How much health do you have?
I have
2. At
7.
least.
Hey, we're not so different, you and I.
Yeah.
A little different though. I have 8.
Aside from Wesley, you guys pretty much all chose the darkest sparks on the lists. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Leslie was like, I'll be a paladin.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I just want to protect my friends. Okay, that's all I want to do.
I just want to
Which-
protect my brother.
Which again made it really easy for me to do the world building for this city.
Good.
Just a depressing city.
You'll
I feel
see.
like it would be in its own way depressing, as it just no matter what.
This game is so cool. I hope we play it again at some point, and then again. I hope we play this game for the rest of our life.
You've said that about every
Yeah, I
single game
have.
we've played.
Dude, every game we played is cool, but this one seems really cool. I'm usually not
Except for the potato.
I didn't play it, so
Oh my
that's your
God.
L to hold.
He does not like the potato game.
He doesn't like the potato, but literally the rest of us all.
Yeah, everyone
rest of
else
you like
loved
it?
it.
Yeah.
The first thing I heard was him talk about how much he hates it. So I was like, oh, I guess it's buns.
No,
It was
good.
fun.
That was a fun episode to listen to, I will say.
Yeah.
Why do you
Good.
hate it so much? You just not a fan of
It's
buns?
It
just
took
dumb.
literally
It's a
less
meme.
than an hour of his life. And he was like, oh, I hate it so much. Like, there was no prep. He didn't have to prep anything. He just didn't like it because it was a meme, but it's like, so's Adventure Skeleton.
But that's
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
that's
now.
a lot. We don't have to
No.
attack adventure skeletons
It
to
requires
defend
prep.
potatoes.
No, I agree.
It requires prep for sure.
You guys
but,
always
like,
agree. You guys always gang up on us.
No,
No, I think she was agreeing with you.
no,
To be fair,
I was agreeing with Stevie.
Oh.
My thing is like,
Napoleon Bonaparte?
yeah,
Wait,
it
I
was
didn't play
it's
either
still a
game,
meme.
so
I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, Potato felt more like it was intended to be a card game more than a TTRPG to me. But that's to me.
Well,
Yeah.
You guys did a great
I
job
guess.
with it, but just looking at the rules as written, it felt more
Yeah, the
like a
rules
sit
are
down
weird.
and play a card game cut together.
Yeah, because all
you
you're
were
doing
just
is just
upset
rolling
because it
die.
wasn't a
and that's it.
crunchy game.
Yeah.
Oh, that I could
Probably.
see that.
That's
You do
why.
like crunchy games.
You were just like, wham.
Tostito scoops kind of guy. I feel you.
A marble could run that fucking game.
It took me a second, bro. Dude, I love marbles.
Marbles. What are?
Huh?
How often do they do Marble Olympics?
Not often enough.
Yeah,
I tell you,
honestly.
good.
Dude, Jelly's marble racing? Or, I'm sorry, marble Olympics?
The Marble
Is that on
Olympics are
YouTube?
just better.
They
You
really
call
are.
the Olympic Foundation and get them to add it to the roster officially.
I
Oh.
would.
No, there's a YouTube that does marble races.
Yeah,
It's really
Yeah.
good.
it's really, really good.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
I think
know.
we should make it an official Olympic sport, though.
We should make a TTRPG all about marbles.
All about marbles?
Dude, did you guys ever like play marbles when you were a kid? What the fuck
Yes.
were you supposed
No,
to do?
I just hit the other ones. Like I didn't know how to play. I just
Or
hit
like
the other
jacks was such a weird. It's just like bounce the ball, grab as many as you can.
Try to stack
that how
yourself
you-
with the jacks.
Is that how you're supposed to
Yeah.
play
marbles.
it?
I think
Yep.
so.
Yeah.
And I don't know why did it have to be caltrops.
Yeah, what a dumb
So,
game.
With marbles, the idea behind it is you scatter the marbles in a ring, and you're supposed to knock them out of the ring using your big shooter marble, essentially.
Yeah.
Mm,
And then you
okay,
get
that's
to
how we played it.
keep
We'd
the
have like a
other
yarn.
person's. Yeah.
We had
But-
a string that was the circle.
Mhm.
Yep.
But do
I
you
don't know if
lose
that
your
was the
shooter
normal
marble?
way.
No, the shooter you keep.
Okay.
Like it's like
Yeah.
the
Honestly, Pogs was
You're
the
equipped.
exact same way. It's just discs instead of marbles.
wait.
Yeah.
Is that what you were supposed to do?
Yep. You would drop all your
just
Pogs in a
collected-
pile and use the big heavy one to smack it down and grab them out of the air.
We would just collect them in a binder,
You're
like
saying-
baseball cards.
Like literally all those fads from the 90s were all just Jack's butt.
They were all gambling.
That's so
butts.
weird.
I know Crazy Bones tried to do something different with a weird point system depending on how the bones fell, but it was weird.
I have a question. Are we still doing mods, or did we move on to something? Because I don't want to.
I'm just waiting for you guys to be finished.
be behind.
I think I am ready to go.
Reborn, gain the blood effect.
I need
Okay.
like 2 or 3 more minutes.
No worries.
If with
Wait, did I do this wrong?
probably
So
I'm just
Our
kidding.
health
That
and our
was
fuel
toxic.
should
I'm
add
sorry.
up to 14.
12.
It should add up to 12.
no. Your total
14.
fuel. So with your fuel and health, you have 2 for each baseline,
Mhm.
Right.
and then
And
you
we
have
have 10
8
we can
points.
add.
8 points total to distribute between the 2.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
that's your
the
starting
total
fuel and
between the
health.
two should be 12. Well,
Yes.
there's 2 and 10.
Yeah.
So
6 and 6. Yeah.
total, there should be 12 points
Oh.
total,
Yeah.
and then your mods will increase that depending on what you install.
Sorry if I made that weird for you. Your eyes are. What are you?
Oh yes, she does look upset with you.
I don't think I'm understanding. So
It's just how I track to make sure I did the math right because I have 8 and 4.
You start with 2 in health. You start with 2 in fuel, and then you have 8 points to do whatever. you
to
want
add
with.
on top.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It would
Yeah.
total
The total
12,
should be 12.
minimum 2 on
That way
each
I know
thing.
I'm not cheating and having too much or too little.
Exactly.
Disco, I want you to know that this is not you. This is me. It's not
whole-
like
No,
I
to be
literally
fair-
take so long to understand.
To be fair,
anything
this is
in any
every
new
party.
game.
This is every party I've ever run for. You guys are good. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
And genuinely, there was like a large part of when you were talking about like the sun, moon, and shade thing. I cheated. I looked at Wesley's
What do you mean?
because I was like, how much total am I supposed to have? Because it was like it's one of those days for a while that I was just like, I'm listening and I am looking at the actual things he's saying in the book, but I'm not understanding anything.
No worries.
But I figured it out.
Also,
Definitely.
there is a quick reference guide, which is super handy to have. So if you guys have that, great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, it's
something.
the other side of the.
Yeah, I really
character
like
sheet.
this setup.
Mhm.
Actually, it's
We
just
have
a
it printed,
small
like,
sheet,
halfway.
and then
Oh, that's
a
perfect.
Like
yeah.
half a sheet because
Ow! Sorry.
so we've got the quick reference guide and it's very nice.
I have pages of the rulebook printed out so I can reference it as the GM. A lot of glossary terms.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to do that with a
Mhm.
lot of these.
think the only thing, honestly, it's very straightforward. The only thing I really needed was I had made my own notepad of what the enemy's health and fuel was, and what the affixes for some of their abilities did, and that was it. It's very setup light. Most of the rest was just world building and putting the maps together for you guys.
I want to build a
Fair.
world so bad. I think that's what I'll do. I'll build a world and then I'll just play it on Pathfinder.
There we go.
Okay.
Did you know that they're coming out with a Starfinder 2nd edition?
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes.
Which I'm very excited for.
Are you? Because you don't want to play Pathfinder 2nd edition.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
got him.
Ooh.
the idea of
The tension.
so okay. Here's the thing, Wesley.
I'm just saying we have the book,
Mom and Dad are fighting.
we have the stuff.
Pathfinder
I've been talking
First
so much
Edition.
about wanting to DM again.
Pathfinder First Edition is
You're holding me
beautiful. Okay,
Mhm.
you know what they use Starfinder for?
down. What?
As a fucking testing board
Okay.
for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and
Okay.
trying to figure it out, which means that Starfinder does have a lot of issues.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mom.
Starfinder 2nd Edition, though, fixing a lot of those issues.
Looking forward to it.
So can I DM that?
No, that's mine.
I want to play the funny
never
space
doing it
game.
again.
He's the only one that does Finder stuff.
I guess maybe that's what it is, bro. You don't have a problem with Pathfinder 2nd edition.
He's
You just don't want me to
gatekeeping.
DM.
Well,
a Finder,
if you want to play one of the finders, you got to pay him for it. That's a finder's fee.
God damn it. God damn it.
Hey, editor, add that in. Add that in.
We're just added in at the end.
none of the context. Just add that joke.
Am I still supposed to paint that? I keep on forgetting about it.
Oh, yeah.
The
Eventually.
Going Mary.
I'm holding
Yeah.
their gift
No, it's okay. It's okay. I like. It kind of looks good there. It'll look good on top of my desk too. But
It'll look better there,
Mhm.
probably.
you can give it to me when I become king of the
Hey,
pirates.
it'll look well on your desk.
It won't.
It'll look shit on his desk. Come on.
Say ship. Stop.
That ship looks very ship.
Oh man, good times. Good times.
Do you watch One Piece?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I have not had time to watch anime in many years, unfortunately.
Well, hey, it's never too
Well,
late.
you need
know?
all the time to watch One Piece.
Yeah, it's like what, like 600-700 episodes now or something. Insane
Oh,
like
they're in
that.
1,000 now.
We're at
Oh, good
almost
God.
1,100. Yeah.
I mean, I
What
tried
episode are
starting
you on?
watching it when they had 300. So
I'm at like
That was a while ago.
520.
Oh my god, we're halfway through.
Yeah.
I say
Dude.
I've watched all of it with you, but I just sporadically like pop in on on his watching and then
Mhm.
get super into it, and then I'm like, wait, who's dead? Like the next day.
I'm not
If you want-
super big on shonen. I'm definitely a huge mecha fan though. So if we
Ah.
ever get Robotech in the West properly, please stop fucking around with the IP. Sorry, I shouldn't swear.
No, we swear all the time.
Oh,
I'll say
all
it
right
right
then. Fuck it.
now. Yeah.
What are you guys
I
doing
can't
with the
believe you
copyright?
said that. Dude, if you want to go crazy,
But-
not crazy, but if you go back to like the One Piece arcs and look at the year they were animated, it's crazy. Like Alabasta was like 2002.
I've
Wait,
been
fucking
trying to watch
seriously?
highlight
Yeah.
clips on YouTube to kind of get a general idea of it.
What's that one? You recommended a YouTube thing to me once that it cuts out a lot of the
I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's called One Piece.
Oh,
One
Is that what you're
Piece.
talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's One Piece, but they cut off a lot of like, because there's a lot of like, just
Like those
yeah,
moments.
exactly. Like where nothing's happening and you're just looking at a
or
tree.
flashbacks.
Yeah, I think it keeps the
flashbacks so
flashback, but
much.
like basically all the non-dialogued, just scenery scenes that don't really add anything to the plot or the flow gets trimmed down. So it's like I remember there's this one scene in particular that neither of us have gone into yet, but basically Luffy clashes with some other dude and like the shockwaves, whatever, ripple all the anime shit that happens, right? And that scene lasts like minutes of just like, oh, whoa, power. And it gets cut down to like maybe a minute in One Piece because it just, you don't need to stare at the shockwaves for that long.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Get it, bro.
me. I need to stare at the shockwaves.
Oh,
that
yeah.
It's
long,
like
but-
it makes me think of K-dramas where like
Yes.
there's like an almost kiss or like the kiss finally happens, and then they have to show it from like 5 different angles, and you know how they had to do 5 different
Mhm.
takes because otherwise there would be a person with the camera in the
Yep.
in the back of the other.
I
and you're
call
like, why are you doing this to the actors? Like,
I call it the Dragon Ball Z paradox.
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
I
Dragon
think
Ball
that's
Z is
the
really
original.
2
Oh, that was
hours to do a
oh.
10-second scene.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all
You good to go?
good? Got our mods and everything?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Disco, take it away.
All right. So, quick note, since we have the character creation taken care of, we are playing specifically the Nova First Edition version. The Second Edition is currently in the works, makes a lot of changes to how the system works. Most notably, the idea of removing dice rolls entirely from the game. Personally,
Oh wow.
not a fan of that for a TTRPG. I think dice, the luck of the dice is kind of important, but just wanted to make that clear for the listeners. We are playing Nova First Edition. Second Edition is in the works. If you want to take a look at that, buy the system, you get access to the beta test, essentially.
Cool.
And you can kind of
Yeah,
look
that's
through and see what
interesting.
they have available, what they're proposing, what they're finding.
I'd want to like see it
I'm like,
because
what
like
do
a
you do?
diceless thing.
I'd be
Yeah.
down to try that.
I
Yeah.
mean, when it comes out, maybe we test
Yeah.
that and
If
Yeah.
you bought the PDFs and everything, it's actually listed as part of the package you get from itch.io, so it's all there.
yeah, I
Okay,
saw that.
yeah.
I just didn't go into it because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get confused on all the rules, so
Yeah,
I'll just
so-
stick with the one we're playing.
So just wanted to make it clear for the viewers what we're playing and which version we're playing, because it's a huge difference. So,
Oh yeah.
since we have our characters created, let's dive right into it, because that's what Nova does. So, to set the stage, the Tri-Spire City is built into the side of a massive cliff of the old world. I'm going to move you over to the map here so you guys can see it there. That big pale area, that's the cliff.
Okay.
Named so for the 3 sun shards that landed within relatively close proximity to each other, and the city built up around it. 3 sun wells providing an incredible amount of energy to the people and the industry that sprung up around it. For many years, the city was a pinnacle of human ingenuity and endurance, every so often sending out colony groups to find new sun shards and build a new city around it to try and spread out and reclaim humanity. The 2 locations of note, aside from the Tri-Spires themselves, is the Lighthouse, a large pseudo-religious academy of sorts that rises over the city, serving as a beacon of human knowledge and intelligence. They offer a massive archive of reclaimed and contemporary works, books, and tomes and information gathered from around the dusk, as well as more or less free schooling for the people. The idea is, in order for humanity to endure, it must be enlightened, and that is their primary goal. On the other side of the city is the Libertech Arcology, a massive research complex and manufactory section dedicated to producing pretty much everything the city needs or uses, whether it be for industry, luxury, business, whatever. It's all built by Libertech. They also serve as the forefront of spark development in this region of the Dusk. Now, for many years, the sparks of the Tri-Spire were well known as brave and bold, to the point where they had a certain measure of celebrity to them, not only in their city, but the outposts and sub-cities they birthed. It got to the point where people would be following their favorite spark pilot. Missions were being live broadcast to the people so they could see their brave heroes in action. That is until an unfortunate incident with an experimental weapon caused the agonizing and slow deaths of an entire Spark team on live television. After that, a blanket ban was put on these broadcasts. Monuments were erected throughout the city, and no new Sparks have been trained and built since. The ruling council of the Tri-City, eager to make sure that something like this tragedy never happened again. That is until recently. About 5 days ago, it was told to the public that the first home-built Sparks of the Tri-City would be revealed to the public, their pilots formally inducted in a ceremony like the old days. They would be led by a visiting Spark from a neighboring town who had come here after another tragedy where their city had been destroyed by Hellion raiders. A single Spark squad survived to escort the survivors to the Tri-City, seeking shelter, a new home, and they were welcomed with open arms. At the naming ceremony, there was a bit of a stir, for as the Sparks were revealed, they found not the brave Scorches or the Pyres or the Wayfinders, but another Pox unit, the same one that had caused the tragedy many years ago. A sanguine, dark and vampiric in its appearance. A grim, well, the less said about the grim, the better. And a stir even among the organizers. What had supposed to have been a Wayfinder spark was something different entirely. Something terrifying to look at, something uneasy to be around. But the pilot chose to accept it as it was, for reasons of their own. It's despite the shock and concern from the event, the ceremony went forward as it was. A celebration was held, and people soon forgot in the moment among the feasting and the revelry and the fireworks. It was a time of celebration, of light. Once more, the Tri-City would delve into the darkness, a spear tip of radiance. And once more, the lighthouse would shine brightly into the dark. So, let's meet our pilots, shall we?
Really quick, bro. You're so good at that, bro. I love hearing you talk about stuff.
Thank you very much.
I forgot that we're part of this. We're just listening to a story.
So, it's 5 days later. We're going to introduce our characters in chronological order as they wake up for the day. Takeshi.
Yes.
You are floating in a vast sea of emptiness, but not nothingness. All around you are countless specks of light, trillions upon trillions of glittering jewels suspended amidst swirling nebulas that contain colors you could never name. Stars beyond counting surround you like a welcoming embrace, but your gaze is fixed not on this beauty that defies eons, but on the truly titanic ball of flame before you. So vast in its size as to appear as a wall of roiling red and yellow and white that consumes the horizon no matter which way you turn your head. The sheer radiance you've only heard stories about. To your right, you watch as a ring of plasma strands rises from the surface and stretches hundreds of thousands of miles before bursting into strands that dissipate into solar winds. You know you should scream. You can feel the heat of that primeval radiation blasting across your bare skin. You feel the coronal winds licking at your minuscule form bound in that fat and flesh, a candle in a furnace. You know you should scream, but you do not. You know you should feel mindless agony, but you feel not even a hint of pain. Your eyes locked into the blinding ball of stellar power in spite of its radiance. And there in the light, you see it. Among the light and heat and radiation, you see it, a dark spot swirling on the surface, a slowly turning pool of dull glowing embers that shifts as if adrift on a turbulent sea. As you watch this spot of shadow on the otherwise perfect luminance of what you know now to be the old sun, the spot slows, stops, unfolds into a vaguely humanoid shape with 4 glowing crimson eyes. You watch frozen as this thing, this creature of darkness staining the sun, locks that burning gaze upon you, reaching out from the sun and wrapping a hand of molten slag around your form, each finger easily twice as long as you are tall. Its maw opens wide and a voice flows through you with the sound of a blast furnace. Set us free! Your eyes shoot open as you sit upright with a start. Your bed is wet with a cold sweat as you find yourself in the new quarters given to you by the Order as recognition of your new status as a pilot. The chronometer on the wall tells you it's an hour before first bell, an hour before you usually rise for the day. Nearby, a small mirror sits on a dresser. Please, describe the face you see there looking back at you.
So, Takeshi goes to the mirror and washes his face, right? Splashes it up around, and you see a very chiseled Japanese looking face, right? He is a little paler than, or sorry, a little bit more tan than your average member of society around here because of his time so close to the sun shards.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
And outside your window, you see the very faint, dull glow of the eternal night sky. The light from the tri-spires casting into the night in lieu of a proper blue sky like you've heard in the old stories. You splash the cold water in your face. Is this the first time you've had this dream, or is this something you've been having a few times recently?
So this is a recurring dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you told anyone about it?
I told my my surrogate father, one of the monks. I told Tokyo right before he left out to the dusk.
Okay. So you're up an hour earlier than you normally would be. What do you want to do with your day?
I think I'm going to try and center myself. I'm going to start the day off with some slow yoga and try to get some meditative peace back as I take in the light from the sun shard.
All right, you bask in its warmth, and throughout it all, when you close your eyes to meditate, in the back of your mind, you see it there, that pure perfection that was the sun, so vivid, but that spot looking back at you, waiting, hungry, knowing it wants something from you, but it won't tell you what. And every time you try and speak in your dreams, nothing comes back until you wake. Soon, though, you hear the familiar sound of first bell ringing out of the city, marking the end of the shift. The city runs on a 6-hour cycle to mark time, since there's no, sun and moon cycle. It's all timed by the chronos in the city. So you hear first bell, and you can hear some of the monks below moving about. Your suite is bigger than you're used to. You're used to a small personal chamber, a bed, a desk, and a place to wash up for the day, and that's pretty much it. You're in a decent 3-room suite, essentially. A large hotel room by modern standards, but for an ascetic monk like you, it feels like a bit much sometimes. You do, though, hear a tap on your door and a familiar voice. Takeshi, are you awake? And you know this voice to be Sikashima, Flare's son, your old friend.
Okay. Sikashima, what do you need?
Well, I figure you've been cooped up there since the ceremony. Wanted to know if you wanted to come down to the gym and get a few spars in.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to clear my mind.
Right. The door opens and he steps in, and you see a Japanese gentleman. Looks a lot similar to you, a few years older, a few scars across his face, but an eternal smile on his features. I know with the unease at the ceremony and with Mayumi being gone, you seem to have been taken a bit harder than... I figured you could use the break.
Yes, I could. I appreciate you reaching out, brother.
Besides, someone needs to beat a bit of humility into from time to time, huh? And he kind of gives you a light punch in the arm and a laugh.
Oh, not today.
Oh, we shall see about that. All right, and you guys gather your things and head down to the gym for the day.
Sounds good.
All right. James, as we pan out from the first impact solar temple across the city towards the lighthouse itself, and then down into the streets. James, the streets are quieter this early in the day, but you feel an anticipation on the back of your neck. A watchman and his partner in a nearby corner stand with their casual ease of a long night of nothing, eagerly eyeing the chronometer mounted high above the plaza as if willing the shift to end faster. Street vendors hurry past with carts on their way to the various markets and leisure centers to try and secure a good spot for the day. Small groups of people scamper about either on their way to work or heading home after enjoying a bit too much of the Tri-Spire nightlife. Most people don't pay you much attention as you weave your way through. To them, you're just another commuter, just another person. But as you step foot on the polished bronze panels that mark the Lighthouse Plaza proper, that blanket of relative anonymity is left behind. Here you find no vendors setting up for the day, no buskers arguing over who got to a spot first, no bleary-eyed revelers or half-panicked workers rushing to their daily duties. There is no hiding here under the towering structure of the lighthouse. Your footfalls tapping clearly as you stride across the large metal panels, each etched with arcane patterns and excerpts from archaic texts. The only others you see here are a handful of robed scholars returning to the lighthouse, and a few stern-faced guards who take their job a bit too seriously at times. Here, everyone knows who you are. What you are. Some offer a polite nod or a word of greeting as they pass, some watch with blatant fascination or curiosity, and some pick up their pace to avoid crossing your path. But you're not here for them. You're here for more comforting company. As you step through the revolving doors, you're welcomed by the familiar bustle of the unsleeping tower. Scholars of all disciplines hurry to and fro, many of them undertaking spirited debates and discussions as they move. The large ring desk ahead of you, home to a trio of acolytes serving as receptionists, and overseen by the familiar senior archivist. You offer a gesture of acknowledgement to their greetings and turn to the right, passing through another set of doors, down a twisting corridor and through the fifth door on the left, to an odd-shaped room with a small framed photograph of some nameless archivist, and the elevator doors marked with a simple plaque overhead that reads, Necrobiology Annex, Professor Mordecai Ox. Just above the call button is a handmade sign nailed to the wall that reads, Cold Box, Good Luck. As you see your reflection in the polished chrome doors, please describe yourself.
You see a rather pale individual in the reflection. Longer black hair, kind of brushed over his face. He looks a lot like the one main character in Final Fantasy 16, where like various strands of like black hair. It's kind of all messy over his head. But
What, Clive?
Yes, Clive. But some of the strands kind of like cover his eyes, not necessarily blocking vision, but just in an unkempt kind of a fashion. Beyond that, he is quite frail. Not frail, just skinny, I guess is the way to really describe it. Mostly just like leaner muscle underneath of probably a black t-shirt and a similarly dark jean-like material.
All right.
For pants.
All right. Then you open the door of the elevator, you hit the button. After a few short seconds, the door opens again, and you feel that familiar, comforting blast of cold wash against you. There's a light mist on the floor from the humidity condensing. And you've been here before countless times. Nothing here is a stranger to you. The secretary, who's here because they were told to be here, looks up at you, kind of acknowledges your presence, and without a word taps the button to open the door to the cold box itself. You hear the sound of muttering and tools being used. And as you walk in, the first thing you hear is, "Whatever you want, I don't want it. Go away. I'm busy."
Why don't you make me, old man?
And you see the scraggly, old, hunched figure of Professor Mordecai Ox look up at you with these big goggle eyes, and he kind of squints, picks it up, and James, my boy, good to see you. Grab an apron and help me hold this tibia out of the way, please.
Yeah, and quickly, like, he knows exactly where all of the tools are placed within this office. He actually, as he's walking over to grab an apron, corrects the alignment of a pair of pliers that are nearby, puts on the apron, and quickly goes to grab the tibia.
All right, you are hands deep in this corpse. And two of you work together in comfortable silence. You know him, he knows you. There's really no need for words most of the time. You look it over. Can I get you, actually, to make our first roll of the night?
Okay.
Can I get a shade roll for me, please?
Ooh, All right. So I have 4 in shade, so I'm rolling 4d6s.
Yep. And you take the highest result.
And I got a 6.
All right, total success. You kind of give it a quick glance over, and immediately you come to a quick conclusion. Died of fever. You can tell by the organ damage. Though this individual, this unfortunate man, also suffered from bone deterioration and an enlarged liver, meaning he was probably not taking care of himself very well before his end. Probably got sick and just couldn't recover. And after a while, Mordecai kind of reaches in further, reaches up the leg. He's like elbow deep in this thigh, essentially, at this point, reaching upward, grabs onto something, fishes around. Just as I thought. And he pulls out a little metal sliver. Another of these cultists, and he drops it into a little tray at the side and starts peeling the gloves off his arms.
One of the lunars?
Oh, when is it ever anything else? They've taken to shoving these things in their body as a sign of their devotion. The upper archivists have asked me to collect samples for them. A waste of time, I say. Nothing that, as long as it serves the cycle, that's all that matters.
Very well. Must be some kind of strange metallic fragment then. This doesn't look like any proper earth.
No. Some of the archivists have taken to calling them moon shards. Poppycock, if you ask me. Probably just something dredged up from somewhere in the dusk, tainted by the whatever weirdness is out there.
Perhaps I'll look into it for you when I'm out and about.
Oh, yes, you can do that now, can't you? Good work, my boy. I knew you had a grim in you somewhere. Now the whole world knows it, as they should. Maybe finally we can get the cycle back on track. And you know
they
the cycle.
Know of me. Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
what is the cycle?
His belief is that the whole universe runs on a cycle: light and dark, good and evil, entropy and genesis. And his belief is that this whole mess with the sun caused the cycle to grind to a halt. The universe is nothing but a set of gears always moving, and this mess that happened to the sun hundreds of years ago put all that to a stop, and all he cares about is getting things back on track again so things can get back to the way they were. Which, you gotta get the sense that he probably doesn't know what things were the way they were, but some people like to joke that he's old enough to have known.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that I've made those jokes myself.
In his presence or not?
Probably not in his presence. No. Sorry. In his presence, 100%. I make jokes about him being old.
Yeah, he usually takes it good naturedly. He seems to appreciate your company, even if he doesn't the company of others. So, boy, what brings you here today? What can I help you with? Or did you just come for my shining personality?
Oh, well, of course, your award-winning personality is always quite a comfort, but no, I came here for, we'll call it routine.
Yes.
See, I've walked this lighthouse often enough to know that the others just won't understand the way you will.
And I anticipate the people of the city aren't much either. I've heard the rumors. Fire Team Macabre, as they started to call you group. Curious, though, how it turned out.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. A Pox, a Sanguine, a Grim, and whatever that monk turned out to be. It was, according to the records, it was supposed to be a Wayfinder. I wonder what happened.
You would think that those actually designing these sparks would have been able to see any changes.
Well, that's the thing.
During their work.
My contacts in Libertech, everyone says that they put a Wayfinder in that tube. That tube was sealed until the ceremony. No one knows what happened. Keep an eye on that one for me, Let me know what you find out. I'm curious how this factors into things.
I will keep an eye. And who knows, perhaps it's more of that lunar madness, as I motioned to the shard that he had pulled
Perhaps.
out.
But you're not here to talk about such things. Come, I have something fun for you. There was a stabbing victim that came in early this morning. Help me get out of the freezer, please.
Ah, I love the stabbings.
All right.
Ooh.
And with that, the camera pans back out through the elevator, up the shaft, out through the top of the lighthouse, to give a nice sweeping Final Fantasy VII-esque pan of the city, before sweeping back down.
Yes, that's a good pan though.
Yeah, right. Before sweeping
Actually, no.
back down again into the city streets. Jesse, you've walked these streets your whole life. Sometimes were hard, others were plentiful, but always the people were there. Each day of life savored, celebrated, embraced. You know these faces, these people, families, friends, neighbors. You grew up here, made a living here among the calls of food cart cooks, buskers, and preachers. The city watched, laughing with the locals, their weapons always stowed, rarely even loaded. The same smiling faces, the same laughing children. But there are fewer smiles now as you pass. With such a close-knit community, word and rumor travels fast. Now the familiar faces look at you in awe, in worry. People whisper when they think you can't hear. It's the vampire. What are they thinking? Aren't they supposed to be heroes? What kind of hero uses those things? Some stare, some try not to look your way. But then there are the children. They hear the same rumors, they see the adults acting strange, but they also see you. They see the same Jesse that chased them around the Mariana Knox Memorial. They see the same Jesse that talked to that one merchant into giving them a few extra sweets at no charge. The same Jesse that took the blame for that broken window when they hit the ball a bit too hard that one time. They, and like the ever-bright smiles of the children that wiggle free of their worried parents to greet you and ask you to play, there's always the Civil Dawn. One of the oldest buildings in Tri-Spire, and certainly the oldest in the Dawn Promise neighborhood. Its old saloon doors sanded and restained countless times, the flickering halogen sign over the door showing that the first peaks of a rising sun. The regulars sitting on the front porch to smoke, the sound of laughter and the music from whatever local band the proprietor approved that week. Life might change, sometimes in ways you'd rather it not, but this place, home, will be there as long as there are people. This thought comforts you as you feel the old varnish of the doors on your hand, feel the weight of what you've become lift from your shoulders to leave behind that which you've always been. Jesse, please describe yourself as you walk into from the morning crowd.
Jessie, much like her brother, is pale with jet black hair, but hers is long and pulled up in a high ponytail. And when she pulls it up in a ponytail, you notice that there's kind of a single red streak coming from the nape of her neck. She's got a somewhat muscular build. She's not like yoked, but she's like a lean, muscular. Like you can tell that she's
Athletic.
done a lot of manual labor in her life.
Gotcha.
Like, however young she is, she's been working for years. You can tell by the scars on her hands, and
All right.
she's in shape. And yeah, that's it.
And as you walk into the Dawn Promise, this large community center, essentially, it doubles as a saloon, but it's a gathering place for the people of the Dawn Promise, of the Civil Dawn, which is a community hub for the Dawn Promise neighborhood. You see several familiar faces. You see the bartender, Leon, working the bar for the early drinkers and making sure a few people are still alive from their night before. You see one corner. Let's see, where is the name here? I just had it. You see Neil, the local horse and castle shark, trying to convince some of the other locals to play him, who know his tricks at this point and are not willing to lose more money to this guy. And the first person to address you is the ever-familiar figure of Grigory Mikhailovich, or more commonly known as Greg to the locals, who stands up behind his desk and offers a wave. Jesse! It's good to see you. How are you, girl? Please, come in. Neil. Leon. The usual for Jesse.
Thanks, Leon. Hey, Greg. How's it going?
He's busy. As always busy. But, more so since the ceremony. A lot of people celebrating, a lot of people trying to forget. I'm not going to lie to you. The job board has been booming, as they say. Everyone is eager to see you get out and get to work, and not those little, what they call, team building patrols that they've had you on for the last few days. Ugh, a waste of resources, I say.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about how excited everyone is to send us off into the dusk, but
I mean, that's what you trained for, you prepared for,
that
yes?
is what we trained for, yeah.
By the way, a package was left for you. Marissa was here last night before her shift.
Okay.
And he kind of looks around, and he stands up and he barks something in some Eastern European dialect over to Leon, who calls back to him similarly in Italian. And he nods and ducks back out of the way, comes back out with a small package for you. She wanted me to give this to you personally when you came in this morning. Said it was very important.
Oh, okay. Do I need to open it now, or am I taking it home?
It's up to
Did
you.
you
It's
say?
your package. I am just delivery man.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna open it.
Right. You open it up.
Take a peek.
And you open it up, and you see what looks to be like a wrist brace of some kind. With as you kind of look it over, there's like electro contacts on the inside. There's a touch screen built into the paneling on the upper portion. And as you take a closer look, you see, in very tiny print, LibreTech prototype, not for resale, not for distribution.
Ooh.
And you get the sense that Marissa probably pulled this off an assembly line somewhere, didn't tell anybody, but it's yours now.
Okay. I'll probably try that on at home, not here
All
in
right.
public.
Yeah, you kind of wrap it back up, tuck it into your pack, and Gregor's kind of gives you a knowing look. So, what is planned for today, huh? More patrols, or have something personal in mind?
I don't know. I'm just taking a walk around before my brother's back at the lighthouse, so
Nah.
I was hoping to hang out with him, but I guess I'm gonna be spending a bunch of time with him.
Well, hopefully not too much, huh? Make sure you come back here, take time for yourself, relax, girl, yes?
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I don't have to look for. I'm kind of don't really know what to do with myself without having work to do.
Well, as long as you're not turn to a workaholic like your uncle. Comes in, gets drink, leaves. Not even a hello. How rude.
He's not much been one for much conversation anyway, so
But it is
that sounds
Gregory.
very like him.
I mean, the two of you continue shooting the shit for a while as the camera pans out again. As we head across the way, past a nice panning shot of the Tri-Spire and the Corona, where the council building is held, and towards the Liber Solar Tech Arcology. Kalina, this has been your home your whole life. Its seemingly endless corridors as familiar to you as the back of your hand. The HR department likes to call the hundreds of staff at the facility one big LibreTech family. But those words ring true for you. Long days spent in the labs watching your parents work, or sitting in the staff lounge to watch the Spark missions broadcast on live channels. At least, it was until that day. You threw yourself into a plan after that, watching your father hollow with each passing year while you pushed yourself to prove ready, to prove worthy. To prove yourself, you did. And prove yourself, you did. Joining the biochemistry department to work alongside your father, both to take up his slack and continue your mother's research. All the while, clocking what hours you could in the training sims or hounding the Spark engineers for their knowledge and experience. It all paid off in the end. Despite your father's protests, you completed the grueling certification course and earned your place as a Spark pilot like your mother before you. But all work and no play can make even the most resilient scientists lose their edge. Thankfully, you have your dear friend Beatrix to storm into your personal lab, close your data book, drag you out to the POW diner for a meal, and a chance to rest your mind for a bit. So, here you sit, sharing a booth with Beatrix at the best damn diner in Tri-Spire, menus sitting open before you both, and the bustle of the morning crowd all around. Researchers and manufacturing staff alike kicking back over a hot meal after the end of the long night shift, or getting ready for their morning shift at first bell. You hear the familiar tap of candy apple flats on the white and black tile as the owner Mai approaches. Good morning, Kalina, Beatrix. The usual? Kalina, as you set down your menu, please describe yourself.
Kalina is quite the opposite of how Takeshi described himself earlier. You can tell that she does not get out much. She's super, super pale, almost kind of tinge of green or blue. Oh. She's so pale. A little sickly looking. She's got hefty bags under her eyes. That when you can get past those, she has really pretty green eyes that are huge. But it's kind of hard to look that close when you can see how tired she is. She has short, dark brown, almost black hair. You can tell it's cut short, not because she thinks it looks cute, but because it is quick and easy, and she doesn't have to fuss with it too much.
All right. So Mai smiles at you. I'll get you your coffee, don't you worry, dear. What would you like to eat? The usual or something new today?
Well, you know I'm not much for change. We'll just take the usual. She hands the menu to her.
She gives a nod and looks at Beatrix, and Beatrix hands the menu back. I'll have the Monte Carlo, extra sugar, large fries, stuffing, the ham, and you know what? Spare the gravy. I'm trying to watch my weight. And Mai just kind of chuckles and nods. I'll have your coffee out to you in a minute, darlings. Be right back. And she hurries off. And Beatrix looks over to you. You need to sleep. You can't be sitting there at that lab all day.
I know. I'm on the verge of a breakthrough. And if I just put a couple more hours in, I think I can get there. And it'll be before this next mission. Well, I guess our first mission, right? And so if I can do that, then I'll have a good standing right off the gate, and hopefully as I do these experiments, it's going to be easier and easier for them to let me try the stuff that I really want to try. They got to trust me first, though, and everybody looks at me like I'm an idiot, so I got to start somewhere, and I think this breakthrough.
Or you get too tired, you start falling asleep, you make mistakes while you're working, and Thomas has a reason to fire you off the team.
Thomas would never fire me. Let's be honest. I'm the smartest person he has.
And he's looking for an excuse to get past that. He has it out for you. I mean, technically he has it out for your father, but Hugo tries his best, but you know Thomas, how he is.
Yeah.
Just be careful, okay? Not all dangers are out there in the dusk.
I guess you're right. I really just need a couple more hours, though.
Well, hopefully the coffee will give you those hours. You know how Mai likes to make it. Just try and get some sleep where you can. Hopefully before you have to go out there,
You'd be proud of me. I got a whole 3 hours last night.
I am proud of you. That's 2 more hours than usual. And she laughs, and the two of you smile as Mai comes back, setting the coffee down. Yours is extra strong, as usual. And she leaves to go eat your food. And you just have this nice, comforting moment with your best friend away from the vials of volatile compounds and chemicals and questionable biological agents gathered from expeditions out into the dusk. And as we kind of make our way through the windows to the diner, we return once more to the streets. Cecilia. It's a comforting feeling walking through the city streets among the people you swore to protect. The smiles of admiration and joy serve as a constant reminder of why you fight. People greeting you like an old friend as the sound of first bell rings over the city, to herald the official start of the day. You've walked this path more often than most since coming to Tri-Spire. You know the time it takes to weave through the crowd during this busy hour to reach your destination right on time. You turn a corner and slip through a side street to avoid that one crosswalk that always takes too long, emerging next to a food cart as the cook makes a show of setting a flare of flame up around a skillet for the delight of his customers. In a blink, you're standing on Falls Lane again. Hand-built homes crackle and burn. Embers and ash dance on the currents made by the inferno around you. To either side, your comrades stand their ground as you plant your shield into the pavement to deflect a barrage of autogun fire. Behind you, the last group of civilians huddle and wait for your all-clear to move again. You hear Ark shouting something, turning to tackle you in the corner of your vision. "Oh, sorry, miss." The courier who bumped into you apologizes with a hurried smile before scampering off. The memory of fire and death now an echo in the back of your mind. After a heartbeat of pause, you're on your way again with renewed vigor to make up for the lost seconds, more eager to get your hands on the comforting texture of old paperbacks. Sure enough, you arrive at the door to Sundew Books just as the morning cashier flips the sign to open and steps aside to let you in. The smell of books filling your lungs and the soft light of a few shard lanterns hanging from the ceiling. Rows of books, both new and ancient, line the shelves, including the owner's pick for the day, a fantasy novel titled "When They Used to Say Good Morning." Please, tell us what the author looks like.
So Cecilia, she has long, I guess, kind of long hair, like down to halfway down her back. That's black on top, and then dyed like if you had a slider for dark and light blue, it'd be like like barely into the dark.
Okay.
And that starts halfway down. She has light freckles on her face, and she has very light blue eyes. She dresses in athleisure on her when she's not in her spark, and she also has a relatively fit build. Yeah.
As you walk in, you see your book being displayed as the owner's pick for the day. There are like 5 copies sitting on a small table. Printing is easier to come by here in Tri-Spire, but still not super too terribly popular because most people have data slates thanks to the folks at Libertech providing for their every need. But books are popular enough still, especially the old ancient ones on the back wall, gathered from the dusk when the lighthouse doesn't get to them first, at least, or when they decide they already have a copy. They come here. And the cashier smiles at you. "Good morning, Cecilia. Just browsing again today or looking for something specific?"
Just browsing today, I think.
All right. We did get a few more released from the lighthouse. They're on the back there if you're interested. Otherwise, just let me know if you need anything. And she sits down.
I'll check them out. Thank you.
Yeah, she sits down and goes back to her stacking and paging through a book of her own. The bookstore is quaint, about the size of a large apartment, and there are just books upon books everywhere. There is a rough organizational to this place, mostly just these are the old books, these are the new books, essentially, and good luck throughout there. Usually the owner and the cashiers know where everything is for the most part.
Are there any books that talk in more detail about what happened with what's your character's name? Salka?
Kalina.
Kalina.
Her last name's Knox.
With Kalina's mom.
Go ahead, and I'm gonna say roll an attribute for me, and I want you to let me know which one you want to use and why. Why do you think it would be a good one?
I guess I think Shade makes the most sense because I think it's more of a question of like
taking your time,
whether or not I
through
would
them.
know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, roll shade for me, please.
And is that just one die, and then I add my shade? Is that how that works?
So you roll a number of dice equal to your shade score.
I see.
Then you take the highest result.
I got a 6 and a 1.
All right, so it's a 6. It's a full success. You look through. It's recent enough that you're not expecting anything from the older books, so you focus on the newer ones, the ones printed. There's a section for books printed here in the Tri-Spire. You don't find one specifically according to the Knox incident, as it's called, but you do find a very recent publication about the history of sparks in the Tri-Spire. And as you pull it open, you flick through and you do see, in the more recent years, a note about the event. Basically, Mariana Knox was part of a well-known and well-established Spark team. Unique that she was the only Pox on a team of pyres and scorches for the most part. Very combat oriented. She was there kind of as an experimental, like, oh hey, this is something new. And in fact, she was the first Pox pilot. It goes into talk about some of their missions, how they rushed out into the dusk to help with the evacuation of their neighboring city when the Hellions tore through and burned it to the ground. And then there is a note though about how the team ended. An experimental toxin bomb detonated early, and the sparks weren't designed for the particular potency of this particular agent, because at the time, this was at the peak of a Spark celebrity at the time. So everything was being broadcast live at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The whole city got to watch, unfortunately, as they perished in very unfortunate and slow fashion, for lack of unpleasant details, we'll say.
Would I know if there have been any more Pox pilots since? I assume not, because you said there really haven't been any new.
The Pox program was suspended for a few months after the incident for obvious reasons. But once the investigation ended, officially, Libertech did reinstate the Pox program, but no pilots ever took on a Pox after that, until, one of the charges that have been placed under your care. For as one of the more experienced pilots in the city now, you had the distinct honor of being assigned these 4 rookie pilots, fresh out of the certification with their brand new machines, to basically serve as a mentor and guide to kind of help show them the ropes until they got their feet under them properly and they could start working independently or however they chose to move officially. Officially, your team's designation is Fireteam Delta Ajax 7. Unofficially, you've heard the people of the city start calling you guys Fireteam Macabre, though your old friend, Ark, callsign Ark, as Jonathan Breakwater, jokingly called you guys Fireteam Rider. He elaborated, saying it was from an old Calamity book he found, where that's a story talking about 4 riders representing death, war, plague, and conquest, who rode astride mythical creatures called horses to usher in the end of days. And so he's been kind of calling you guys Fireteam Rider as a joke since then.
That's funny. Yeah. I think I'll just keep thumbing around this book for reference, because I think Miss Knox is like the biggest concern on my mind, since that incident was semi-recently.
Right.
Or recent enough, I guess.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information about about Miss Knox herself. Aside from the fact that she was the, basically the pseudo-creator of the Pox suit itself and its capabilities, its pioneer, and its, to this date, only pilot in the Tri-Spire, at least. She was followed up by her widower of a husband, Hugo Knox, and at the time she passed, she had a very young daughter, who is now one of your teammates, Miss Kalina Knox. Aside from that, there's really not a lot of information. Libertech has made a conscious effort to keep a lot of her work classified, and a lot of her personal information has been kept out of public record by the request of her husband, Hugo Knox, and that hold has been maintained despite many requests over the years for more information or expose or whatever. He's been very tight-lipped about, I don't want to talk about her anymore, kind of thing. But as you spend your time working through there, each of you kicking back in this moment of respite, each of you was given a accessory during the ceremony Each of you, it was a piece of jewelry or an object of personal significance that you gave to the council. And when it was returned to you, it contained a small sliver of one of the sun shards in the city. This object now serving not only as a sort of badge of office to indicate your status as a pilot, but also a way for you to be called and to commune with your sparks when it comes time to suit up. As you guys are kind of going about your daily routines, blowing off steam, whether it's with friends or in the quiet moments by yourself, you feel a warmth. And as you look to your token, you see that sliver glowing inside them. It's time to suit up, Sparks. The night calls. And we're going to end our first episode there. So I believe
So
we're
good.
close to time.
What a good intro.
And
Yeah, we're good.
welcome to Nova listeners and players, and we'll see you next time. You get into your
I'm
first
so
mission.
fucking
Yeah.
excited.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah, I'm super
Dude, the
excited.
descriptions
it's
are
so
just
good.
nuts.
They're so
Yeah.
good.
Glad to be of service.
Fucking A. All right, yeah. I mean, stay tuned. Disco's gonna take us through quite the goddamn adventure. Just good fucking job, man.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
give you
thank
enough
you.
praise. It's really good.
Thank you for having me, kindly. I'm looking forward to it.
Anyways, Discord, Patreon, all that good stuff.
Yeah, links in the show notes.
Instagram.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have
we
it.
do have social medias.
And always
Yeah.
remember that you are forever stinky.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh,
You
yeah.
smell really
Stinky,
bad.
smelly
It's okay.
listeners.
Unless you sub on Patreon, in which case you probably smell alright.
Yeah.
All right, deuces.
Later.
Bye,
Bye, guys.